children to buy these records, and they studied these records and learned to play them note for note, phrase for phrase. And they took that music and through their virtuosity created really what we know today as rock and roll. And I think what's extraordinary, not about just about the story about tribute to Elmore, but also about the development of modern music in general, is that the greatest propagators of the art have gone to great lengths to give credit to those whose shoulders they stand upon. And so Eric Clapton and Jimmy Page and Keith Richards would go out of their way to say how I took that lick from Elmore James, I took that lick from Muddy Waters, I took that lick from Lyon Lennon Jefferson, and so on and so forth. And they always said that everything they did was a result of what these people who never received credit had done.
Straight cat sitting on a ain't got enough dough to pay the rent. I'm flat broke, but I don't care. Some ride fire with my tail in the air. Straight cat, straight kind of lady sky. Little cats live, hey yeah, that's right. There's shoes on Miami by Needle Man.
Trying to get my
Dinner from the garbage.
Yeah.
I don't bother chasing mice around. I strut down the alley looking for a fight. Out into the moonlight on the summer, singing the blues while my lady cat cry. All stray cats sure real cool down. I wish I could be as carefree and wild. So yeah. I don't bother chasing mice around. Strut down the alley looking for a fight. Out into the moonlight on a hot summer night, singing the blues while my lady cat cry. All stray cats, you're a real cool guy. I wish I could be as carefree and wild, but not as I said, God, style. Strut down the alley, looking for a fight. Out into the moonlight on a hot summer night. Singing the blues while my lady cat cried. All stray cat, you'll be a cool guy. I wish I could be just carefree and wild, but cat says God.
Monday in California Dreaming. The last train to Clarkville by the Monkees is also in the top 100. We Can Work It Out by the Beatles. And I also will note that Percy Sledge was up there with When a Man Loves a Woman. Speaking of this love thing, there's been a lot of talk in politics about the 1%. But we're not here to talk politics. We're here to talk about Jackie and Charlie. And I found, according to Time magazine, there is a new percentage group upon which we should all look enviously, and that's the 6%. 6% of married couples have been married for 50 years. Only 6%. And when you think that half of marriages end in divorce, I think that's really only about 3% of people who can say that they've been married 50 years in our country. But today, of course, has nothing to do with envy. It has to do with the extraordinary couple, Jackie and Charlie. And growing up as children, we did indeed have some extraordinary adventures. Crossing the Atlantic twice in Le Pons, the ocean liner, to go live in France. Traveling in Bretagne and Normandy. I think we went to Amsterdam, and I vaguely recall an episode where my father, Charlie, to you, imitated Spider-Man. We had lost our keys, and we had to break into our apartment, second floor apartment. Hopefully I got that right. That Jackie and Charlie's two sweet boys would end up into such adrenaline junkies later in life, worthy of rap sheets with the Denison Campus Police, Northwestern University Campus Police, the Granville Police, and of course, the Préfecture de Police de Paris. I didn't say we had rap sheets, worthy of rap sheets. Fortunately, Dan and I both survived all those childish pratfalls and graduated onto bigger and better things, such as staring down the barrel of an AK-47 in the Sahara Desert, or Hazelden. As thanks, bro. As a father myself, I can scarcely imagine what might have been going through the minds of my parents, my sweet mother and father, Jackie and Charlie, let alone my sweet young sister, Emily. But somebody make sure that my mother gets a glass of wine tonight, and I'm sure she'll share many of her thoughts, whether you ask her or not. Anyway, from the bottom of my heart, I've been truly blessed to grow up in your orbit. For almost 50 years, I've been your son, and it's been a wonderful thing. And I just wanted to say thank you, and wanted to, at this time, raise a glass and say cheers to you, fortunate 3%ers, a wonderful mother and father.
Extraordinary philosopher and theologian at the end of the 4th century. He has a famous passage in the Confessions, and he starts off by saying, "When people ask me if I know what time is, I answer, of course I know what time it is. And then they ask me, what is it? I can't tell them. I don't know. I can't seize it. And he goes on in a very effective, but brief and concise meditation, saying that when he reflects on it, the past is just a memory. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a past for him. And he thinks about the future. And for him, he says, they're vain imaginings. It's not real. More often than not, it doesn't come to be. It just becomes a source of anxiety more often than not. And so life was the present, but for him, the present was seeping into the past, bleeding into the future, and just, it was almost as if it didn't exist for him. And that sounded right to me. But my life with Jackie has been too rich for me to turn away from the possibilities of its presence. And so, you will not be surprised to learn, I turned to Albert Camus, a French writer and philosopher, who in 1942, what happened in 1942?
We were born.
Oh, we were born, that's right. And 2 years later, he got the Nobel Prize. And in many ways, it's extraordinary. And some could say many things about many of the passages, but for my purposes tonight, there's a curious little passage. The narrator, who has a deadened affect, but who is anchored in the present, comments on the fact that he worked in a warehouse, and before lunch each day, he would go into the bathroom to wash his hands, and he so enjoyed touching the fresh towel. And this is one of Camus' insights, that the world around us is so precious in its presentness that we get distracted, unfortunately, from it by concerns for